It's about the story. You have to be able to tell a convincing story that can convince yourself of these people who are trying to do this thing. They have this problem. Here's what they do today. Here's how it falls short. Here's the opportunity that we can seize if we give them something better, and how much better is it? And go for it. My name's Aron Solberg. I'm a director of product at HelloSign. We were recently acquired by Dropbox.
We interviewed product people across company and industry to find out how they think and how they work. In this series, we share that knowledge with the wider product world. This is Product on Product.
So I was a software engineer for about 3 years, and I also kind of increasingly throughout that time got more interested in understanding kind of why we were building what we were building. Our director of product was open to having me transition. And so after, like I said, it was about 3 years, I moved into product. I've been doing that ever since. We kind of try to embrace, first of all, how important is this decision? How risky is it? If it's a non-controversial, non-risky thing, then we can try to move a little faster on it and not necessarily do in-depth research. And the other key consideration is it a potentially reversible decision? The whole idea here is you're trading off speed and agility with making the right decisions. The other kind of big differentiating factor is kind of based on your strategy, your company strategy. Are you primarily building at this stage, at this phase, what you might call table stakes? My definition is I think about two people coming to a table, and one is the customer or the potential customer, and the other is the company. The customer says, hey, I know about this solution, I want it, do you have it? And you either do or you don't. And if you don't, then the potential customer is like, well, call me when you do. So those are what are called table stakes. In other words, it's a known solution. There's another category of things that you could be building which are more innovative. They are things that the customer doesn't know about. Maybe you have to help them to see what their problems are. When Steve Jobs came on stage to unveil the original iPhone, nobody necessarily knew that that's what they wanted, right? It wasn't table stakes. It was totally new, and it kind of blew everybody's mind. And actually, but first there was this period of like, oh, what is that? How does it work? Do I like this? Do I not? But fast forward a decade, whatever later, and now it is table stakes. You'll often have some kind of a vision or a overarching company strategy that you're trying to work within in the bounds of, and that should be a guiding North Star for you, and that's often something that's been aligned upon and vetted by senior leaders. The problem portion is kind of the most important thing. A lot of your time and effort, if you're going to front load it, is key, because feedback is often cheap and easier earlier on before you've invested work in things, and it increasingly gets more expensive the more time you've sunk into it. In particular, if you start to get to prototyping, or hopefully not, actual MVP functionality. If you start to ask questions relating to a previous gate that you should have passed that could call into question all of that work, that's a big mess. So we do our best to front load those conversations so that we can avoid that thrashing. A big part of product management is getting alignment. Alignment is built through a relatively careful curation of processes and meetings, kind of a cadence of meetings that PMs can count on. They know when they're going to be happening, and so they can be prepared for them. Once we can align on the problem and whether or not it's important enough that it should be a problem that we're going to be solving now or in the near future, then they can pass that gate and move on to the next gate. Now we have this problem we want to solve. What are the potential solutions we want to consider? Data is crucial. Your data strategy is going to vary tremendously based on your life stage. Often in the earlier stages, you're in a major buy mode where you're buying things to help you figure things out. But we use a combination of data driven out of our primary database, and that is actually transformed and moved into like a data warehouse. And that's basically production data, but it's been manipulated. But ultimately, we use it to try to to do better, to understand areas where we have blind spots, looking for like adoption, like are things being used in the way we expected, and also potential just flags and alerts like, oh, there's this new trend, this spiking change in this important metric. Good thing we had the dashboard to be monitoring it so that we could see it and catch it early and try to react to it. Depending on what you're trying to monitor, what you're talking about, it could be absolutely crucial that you have not only somebody looking at it all the time, but you have automated alerts too. Yeah, data is very important. A PM often comes from all walks of life. There's really no like formulaic way to get there. My advice to any PMs would be to choose a product area which you feel motivated by. Communication is huge. Maybe what you'd call less of a hard skill, but absolutely crucial. You can be the smartest person in the world, but if you can't convince people, you'll never bring them along for the ride. Being able to understand like having product intuition and understanding why, like changing the product in certain ways will lead to certain results. That's a big category. Another one, which is I think PMs develop earlier on, is the product strategy piece, which is just kind of like, what are you trying to do? How do you win? How do you break through the noise? How is all these individual work streams going to ladder up to something that's ultimately going to drive the business forward? Don't you think that we deserve more time off? It's actually really hard to take time off as a PM. It's a problem. It's an unsolved problem. We feel guilty. We feel like the bus doesn't have a driver or something. I don't know. My name is Aron Solberg. I'm a director of product management at HelloSign. We're a Dropbox company.
We expect that a great product is also going to be beautiful. It's not just about pretty picture. There's a lot more to it. When I think about like what makes a beautiful product, I actually looked at in history how people define beauty.